So there was one person who absolutely refused to do it, tried all the marketing, language techniques we could do, all the influence. We actually then went into scientific mode. We did an organizational network analysis. So if you're familiar with yet another knowledge management approach, I will call it. But you've got your org chart, and then you've got your social network analysis, or your organizational network analysis. The looks in your eyes say no.
We haven't gotten to that module yet.
Okay.
No, sir.
Instead of, I almost want to draw it, but for time I won't. Instead of an org chart, picture a spider web. Spider web with little circles and lines, or dots and lines. That's how real work gets done, as opposed to the org chart, where it's how decisions and money. There you go. There you go. So we do many of these, but in that case, we conducted an organizational network analysis. When you find your little networks of who trusts each other and who works together, we then took that group and pulled it out with the person we knew was leaving. We said, we can't lose this capability. Let's get their trusted network together. The 4 or 5 people they trust most, put them into a knowledge transfer team. They still refused. Even the people they trusted the most said, absolutely not. I see what you're doing. I refuse. We even tried no, this is part of your paycheck. This is part of your role now. Didn't work. So we made it very open, but what we did then, there was one person she was willing to work with that said, this is how the role is done, this is what I own this system, this is how things work. One person she was willing to work with. That person was then the expert on a separate knowledge transfer team. So the knowledge transfer team ran without the expert in it. There were 2 teams running at the same time. A 2-person team, which is unacceptable, and then a 6-person team on the side, then sharing notes. That is my absolute worst case scenario I've ever run into, when all the techniques of let's just do this together, you don't really own your knowledge. That's how we got around it. So I guess I'm trying to say, creatively, you can find a way.
The last question. So we talked about the profiling of these knowledge teams. So which set of skills you need? It's just their motivation to participate, or?
The more diversity, the better. Even people that don't want to participate, that's part of. So I think Douglas wants me to mention, so we run an 8-hour facilitator training course inside both of our organizations. It's a knowledge management tacit training. I drew it over here just for this table for a second. We draw the classic iceberg diagram where you see the big huge glacier above the water, and we say that's all the explicit stuff, that's the information, that's documents, that's emails, that's that stuff. Actually, knowledge transfer is the stuff below the water. It's the tacit judgments, mental models, predictions. That kind of challenge is what we're looking for in this group. We train them up on that. The other thing we train them up on is organization development. There's facilitation tips and techniques to get a group to debate and have healthy conflict. You're basically converting them from a group to a team, is what you're doing. We train them up on how to ask those questions, what to think about, what to look for. So it's funny that you gave a perfect example in this room right here where you noticed it started negative, but then they went to the positive. That is a group dynamic that you noticed. That is a facilitation technique to say, I notice this table isn't speaking up as much, but this one is. What's going on there? You give that information to the room and then see where it comes back.
Let me see if I understood that. If someone in this room wanted to be trained and you were available to train them, in being able to go back and be competent at that, at a minimum, be one day to make them a facilitator.
Sure.
There might be a little extra training to teach them how they can sell this and get it incorporated into the organization, because it just doesn't happen because as a facilitator in the organization. This has to be sold to people too, so there's a little of that motivational side as well.
The only, yes, is the answer. The only thing I would tweak is say, I use the word training too. I'm trying to slightly less use the word training. I'd be happy to have a conversation. Let's make it a two-way. Let's add some process improvement to this. Let's talk about where your organization is. Happy to just talk through, and we'll both be learning together. It's not just a, here's how to facilitate. I would want to hear how you've facilitated in the past. Let's figure it out together.
Would a person have to go through a simulated one of these sessions? I know you can't stretch it over 3 months or so, but in a training program, and I think I've seen you do this.
That's how we do it, yeah.
You go through a very quick, maybe 2-hour or so simulation of the whole process, right? So somebody can at least have been in it.
If we had more time here, we would have actually run them here in the room, but just time-wise, we couldn't do that. That is, you're pushing 2, 3, 4 hours. I mean, like I said, we normally take 12 weeks to do it, so 2, 3 hours is pretty quick, but you can get the feel. What you can get in 2 hours is the feel of how safe it is. All of a sudden, it doesn't matter what my title is, what my role is, what my experience is. We talk about putting those 3 roles in the room, but the facilitator, by the second meeting, will say, all those roles that got you into this room, remove them. The role doesn't matter anymore. We're now in the room. There's no stupid question. Every question can be from fundamental to expert, and the facilitator calls out and says, ooh, I noticed that conversation only went between the 2 of you. How were the rest of you feeling as that went on? Now you get this safe space of, oh, I didn't know we were allowed to talk like that here. It's level playing field, is maybe another way of saying it. So yeah, happy to have 2-hour versions or 8-hour versions, or just turn it into a conversation. It is on, if you use the KMers hashtag on Twitter, we try to talk about this on the KMers hashtag, so it's out there. Globally.
Where are you at in terms of video capture of the knowledge transfer process?
The whole step 3 is left up to the team.
They work it out.
They work it out. So if the team is comfortable, let's use this room as an example. if the room if the room is comfortable being videoed, if they want to be videotaped, which the very heavy manufacturing teams love to be videotaped. The less manufacturing teams are less comfortable being videotaped, but it also depends on personalities. So yeah, we have a sheet of about 25 different, hey, here's some things, especially mind maps and dialogue maps. Most people will go, never even heard of that, what is that? So then it becomes a quick, here's a 15-minute overview of what a dialogue map looks like. Oh, I've never seen that before. I want to try that in the process. So it's like, you're learning and learning and learning all at the same time. So yeah, it's up to the team, is what I'm trying to say. However they want to document
So
it.
an expert facilitator of this technique would know some of those other things as well, dialogue maps and
Mind maps and blogs and wikis even.
One day training as a facilitator, would you get into all that kind of thing?
You do. Well, we at least mention it.
Yeah, okay.
But then the whole thing is meant to be a conversation. It's meant to be, you mentioned there was dialogue map, but we never got into it. I'm going to go Google that and come back, or I'm not interested, or, wherever it goes.
All right, it's time to take a break. Thank you very much.
Thank you.